Nesse episódio, fomos conhecer a escola Montessori, que atende crianças de 1 a 12 anos de idade. Investigamos sua metodologia de ensino, que é inspirada na Maria Montessori, através de pessoas que vivem isso diariamente.
And I think even here in Morocco, people never really questioned education. And so why would we do it differently? It worked for us. We got educated, we're living our lives, we're successful. Why would we do it differently?
Dr. Montessori, I think, came from a place of a sensibility of trying to develop the mind of the child as opposed to transmit information. So instead of starting with a list of these are the things I want the child to know, instead she started with an idea of I want the child to be a good learner. So what experiences do I need to give the child so that they can learn how to engage with the world and how to learn in general?
When we get out of the way of the child and we let nature do its work, then the child can construct himself. And that the children have the capacities to make responsible choices and decisions. And learning can be a very pleasant and joyful and rewarding experience.
The education and the content is based really on how the brain develops. So teaching very specific things that are universal to all cultures helps it to be something that works from one culture to another. And the things that are more culturally specific get adapted. So for example, the initial sandpaper letters would look like this, but we're trying to figure out sandpaper letters for the Arabic language.
We shouldn't be standing over them telling them how to do it. We show them a single way to do it, and then they're allowed to do it however they might. They might find a better way to do it, a more efficient way to do it, but that's the freedom of the environment. It's not us giving them one way to think about something. They're allowed to find different ways to solve a problem.
The day is organized is through unstructured time. During the work period, the children are free to explore the environment and to choose whatever they want to do. But that freedom doesn't mean that they can do anything they want, as in chaos.
Of course, there are limits. They can't hurt someone. They can't do anything too inappropriate. But they can choose whether they want to do this puzzle or read a book or go outside for a walk. They don't have to wait for recess time. They can just go for a little time outside.
And that's a huge difference in that in standard education, from 9:30 in the morning till 10:30, it's math. And everybody opens their book to page 12 and we work on this. Whereas with Montessori, if the children come in and they see a work that fulfills this inner need.
In Montessori, we don't compare what children know with one another. So instead of nurturing competition, we nurture collaboration. But we do have ways of evaluating children. It is important to know what they know. And so we focus on that. The teachers observe children. They're trained to observe children and to understand where they're at. And they keep records of what the children do and what they've mastered, what they know. And so we focus on celebrating what they know versus what they don't know compared to.
One of the areas of content in the primary level is called practical life. And these are things that are very much what you see happening in daily life. Washing dishes, washing clothes, cleaning the floor. It can be watering flowers, any of these things. Part of the reason that we present these to children is because it's very easy for them to understand what to do because they've been seeing it for a long time. But each thing often has many steps to it. So it does develop their brain because they're thinking about what's the first step, what's the second step, what's the third step as they go through it.
Parent involvement is extremely important in Montessori, and in fact, Montessori really works and works well when parents are convinced that this is what they want.
I didn't choose to put my child in a different school because I was not convinced by the approach that are in those schools. Today we have to think about a different education for our children. I wanted her to be free of her choices. I wanted her to be respected for her opinions, oriented but not imposed. And at the same time, I always really needed her to be extremely independent. I'm a single mom, so it's very important. I mean, it's very important for all children, but it's even more important when you're alone that your child knows to do certain things on his own. At the same time, like the pedagogy, for me, it's like the closest to what brain science is right now. It shows that children have to evolve on their own, that we have to respect their intelligences, that they have to be free of choosing how fast to learn, etc. So I found in Montessori, especially this school, all I needed for May to be happy, to be enjoying her school every day.
Here, because we have older children and younger ones, we take a lot of time, again, through those grace and courtesy lessons of how to avoid these conflicts. For small children, they don't realize that if someone bumps into them, that it's an accident. They think, oh my gosh, they've pushed me, and oh, it hurts so badly. They get very dramatic because they don't know how to express that, yes, this hurt, but I don't think they did it on purpose. So a lot of what we do is simply give them the vocabulary, the words to use to deal with it. So it's one of those, was it an accident? Was it on purpose? If it's on accident, you can say, I'm sorry, and then you respond with, oh, please be more careful next time. So they can learn to differentiate between what is actually a conflict and what is just being one of 26, 27 children running around.
We try very intentionally to have beautiful objects in the environment because the beauty calls to the child. So you may not see a lot of plastic things. There may be some, but probably not a lot. We look for wood, we look for metal, we look for wool and baskets and different textures, different materials, because we know that right now their brains are developing and we want to give as many different experiences as we can so that they can experience those different shapes. We may have some art on the walls. But one of the things that you won't notice in a Montessori classroom is a lot of bright colors. You won't see a big red wall and a big blue wall and a big yellow wall. You won't see a lot of bright plasticky objects around because we try to reduce the distraction of the walls and the shelves so that they're very neutral. And that allows the materials themselves to be more interesting and to catch their attention and pop out.